player will get in the paint that I'm trying to poster, and my dunk meter literally goes to 0, where it's either not greenable at all, or it's basically 1 out of 100 times you might hit the very small pure green window, which was a little concerning for me because, as y'all know, I love making like a 6'3" or 6'4" two-way all-around guard build that has high driving dunk, high defense, high shooting, and high playmaking. But man, after seeing this in quick play, it really does have me second guessing making a small guard with a high driving dunk. I might actually save my small guard builds for just shooting and playmaking, and then make my tall guard builds have the high dunking, so I can save attributes, because if I'm not going to be able to contact dunk consistently and it's going to be 2K25 2.0, I'd rather save those attributes in the builder for my small guards. It'll have to be something I test out more when the game comes out, but if I had to summarize it, if you're making a tall guard, I highly recommend that you up your driving dunk. I genuinely believe it is the easiest thing in the world to dunk meter with high driving dunk on a tall guard build, but if you're making a small guard, we're gonna have to wait and see. Don't worry, I'm gonna test it out day 1 so y'all don't have to, but I just wanted to give y'all the pro tip now. Now, another thing we gotta talk about with the dunk meter is there's actually a brand new control for it that is so user friendly. If you notice on some of these clips, whenever I try to do the normal way of dunk metering, which is up on the right stick and then down on the right stick really quick, you'll notice that there's like a little bit of a hitch before I go up that interrupts the flow of gameplay. That happened on 2K25 too. I never really liked it. It's like my player's trying to do a hezi because that is up on the right stick. So what it looks like is he's doing a hezi into a dunk meter, which wasn't what I intended. But on NBA 2K26, there's a new control where all you have to do is hold down on the right stick and it activates the dunk meter. And just like I highly recommend y'all get used to the quick shot feature, I highly recommend y'all do this method of dunk metering instead. Just hold down on your right stick and time it. And by time it, I mean release the right stick when it's in the green window. Way easier than flicking up and down on the right stick. You will never get a hitch or a hezi. It feels so fluent in game, at least in quick play. Obviously, we haven't tested out online. It might feel different. But by the end of community day, I was only dunk metering by pulling my right stick down and timing it that way. And not only did it feel better, it felt like this is how it's always should have been. So I'm really glad 2K made that change. Hopefully, they'll keep that change in future releases. Now, I feel like I've been yapping about the dunk meter for too long, so we're going to come back to standing dunks later, but do not miss that part because trust me, there is something you need to know about standing dunks. For right now, let's talk about the dribbling. Every year, everybody wants to know about the dribbling because that's what makes or breaks a good 2K game, in my opinion. If the dribbling feels super stiff and robotic, it will never be fun because you cannot combo up and you can't get open effectively without everyone using the same 1 or 2 moves to do it. So this year, I'm happy to say a lot of dribble moves looked really good. And y'all don't have to take my word for it. Look at the screen, bro. I'm showing everything that I'm talking about. You can personally see yourself that the dribble moves look faster. 2K did say that the game speed is increased by 10 or 15%, so maybe that's helping to contribute for the look of it looking way better. But I also feel like the actual dribble moves itself are less stiff and more controlled. For example, the Curry slide on 2K26 kind of feels like the Curry slide on 2K22. If you remember 2K22, it was a super arcade-like game where you could spam a Curry slide, run to the left, spam a Curry slide, run to the right. The Curry slide in NBA 2K26 feels similar to that. And make sure to write this part down because I'm about to put y'all on. The best dribble moves in NBA 2K26 ranked from least overpowered to most overpowered. Starting off the list, we got Steph Curry step back, a super clean separation move for small guards that'll create that extra bit of space you need for a wide open shot. Kyrie Irving behind the back, a ridiculously fast misdirection move that will catch your defender off guard every single time. Mike Conley step back. Not only will this allow you to create some space and reset your dribble, but it also allows you to speed boost to either side. James Harden and Kevin Durant step back, a great separation move for tall guards that seems to have an insanely high rate of ankle breakers. Cheese this while you can because I can almost guarantee it will be patched first week. Steph Curry dribble style. I don't even need to say anything here, just look at this speed boost. There is no speed boost in the entire game that is better than this. And finally, the most overpowered dribble move in NBA 2K26, Steph Curry behind the back, aka the Curry slide. Shocker, I know, the move that lets you change direction and speed boost to either side is the best move in the game. But yeah, overall, dribbling felt a lot better on 26 than it did on 25. Now, I'm not one of those creators that's gonna go out here and say it's better than 2K16, it's better than 2K19. We're not doing all that. But as long as nothing is changed or patched before the game is dropped, which please 2K do not do that, just let us have a month of the game that we played at community day, please. Because I can definitively say that the dribbling on 2K26 felt way better than the dribbling on 2K25 as long as nothing is changed. changed. Now, with every positive, there is a negative. There were still what I like to call a lot of dribbling hitches in the animation, meaning sometimes I could speed boost out of certain moves, and other times whenever I used the move and I went to sprint out of them, my player would do like a little hezzy stop before sprinting again.
Are you busy? I ain't trying to interrupt you if you busy. Type shit. You know what I'm doing. Talking about you know, talking about reacting to the grinding video on stream. Talking about, bruh, not gonna fake it? Nigga, look at the Curry slide. Yeah, that's why I said I pictured you doing it immediately.
The move that lets you
I pictured the light skinned nigga with the tape, with the glasses on, with the bird, black hoodie, black pants. Looking at look for real.
Direction and speed boost to either side is the best move in the game. But yeah, overall dribbling felt a lot better on 26 than it did on 25. Now I'm not one of those creators that's gonna go out here and say it's better than 2K16, it's better than 2K19. We're not doing all that. But as long as nothing is changed or patched before the game is dropped, which please 2K do not do that. Just let us.
It's crazy, bro. You gotta watch the grinding video. I'm honestly kind of mad that I'm watching grinding because he sucked. I ain't gonna fake it. Talking about, oh my gosh, the greatest move. The move he doing straight not like that. Like, it's crazy.
But have a month of the game that we played at Community Day.
Nigga, it's looking scary. That's what it's looking like. It's looking scary. It's looking like a nigga gonna hit me with a step back and pull immediately like 2K25 niggas did that, but this is like, look at the shots this nigga is pulling, bro. He's just pulling straight out of step backs. Literally.
Where you can spam a curry slide, run to the left, spam a curry slide, run to the right. The curry slide in NBA 2K26 feels similar to that. And make sure to write this part down because I'm about to put y'all on. The best dribble moves in NBA 2K26 range from least overpowered to most overpowered. Starting off the list, we got Steph Curry step back, a super clean separation move for small guards that'll create that extra bit of space you need for a wide open shot. Kyrie Irving behind the back, a ridiculously fast misdirection move that will catch your defender off guard every single time. Mike Conley step back. Not only will this allow you to create some space and reset your dribble, but it also allows you to speed boost to either side. James Harden and Kevin Durant step back, a great separation move for tall guards that seems to have an insanely high rate of ankle breaker. Cheese this while you can, because I can almost guarantee it will be patched first week. Steph Curry dribble style. I don't even need to say anything here, just look at this speed boost. There is no speed boost in the entire game that is better than this. And finally, the most overpowered dribble move in NBA 2K26, Steph Curry behind the back, aka the Curry slide. Shocker, I know, the move that lets you change direction and speed boost to either side is the best move in the game. But yeah, overall, dribbling felt a lot better on 26 than it did on 25. Now, I'm not one of those creators that's gonna go out here and say it's better than 2K16, it's better than 2K19. We're not doing all that. But as long as nothing is changed or patched before the game is dropped, which please 2K do not do that, just let us have a month of the game that we played at Community Day. Because I can definitively say that the dribbling on 2K26 felt way better than the dribbling on 2K25 as long as nothing is changed. Now, with every positive, there is a negative. There were still what I like to call a lot of dribbling hitches in the animation, meaning sometimes I could speed boost out of certain moves, and other times whenever I used the move and I went to sprint out of them, my player would do like a little hezzy stop before sprinting again. I know y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. It was all over NBA 2K25. It was part of the reason the dribbling wasn't received that well, and that was because most of the dribble moves that looked good, you couldn't sprint out of them without your player doing like a weird hezzy that you didn't input in your controller. I'm hoping that whenever we put our custom animations in and we mix and match our favorite sigs, that it'll be more fluent. And from what I've seen when I was at the event with the other dribblers, that was exactly the case. People said that it was a lot more fluent whenever you put your actual animations in together. So we'll call this one a small negative because these are just NBA player sigs at the end of the day. But I did want to mention it just in case you go out there on day one and your player's doing a little bit of a hitch. Maybe you need to change your dribble moves, or maybe that's just how it is. We're gonna have to wait and see on the full game. But I will say, if quick play is any indicator, a lot of the taller builds had good dribble moves. I'm so like, if nobody
videos up, I'm turning this off immediately, bro. Oh my god, this nigga is trash. The music, he playing troydan music in the back. Like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Who you? I don't recommend that. Just, you probably should watch Joe No Time. You're right. But I'm gonna hit you after this Joe Knows video. Talking about we gotta see what he talking about. Yes, on some
The highly anticipated annual gameplay breakdown video. We're going to be going over everything gameplay related inside this video when it comes to NBA 2K26. We'll be talking about the no RNG pure green window shooting from both 3-point and mid-range. We're going to be talking about the new custom layups and how consistent we think those are going to be. The new dunk meter. We're able to see the green window again, but is it any good? We're going to be talking about dribbling, can tall build speed layups and how consistent we think those are going to be. The new dunk meter. We're able to see the green window again, but is it any good? We're going to be talking about dribbling, can tall build speed boost again. Of course, we've got to cover on-ball defense for all you locks out there. Paint defense, rebounding. We got everything you need when it comes to 2K26 gameplay. I'm also going to be posting some unedited, raw, full game online user versus user gameplay here shortly, so stay on the lookout for that. But take a second, drop a like on the video for me. Let's try to get this video to 20,000 likes, and let's get into this NBA 2K26 gameplay breakdown. Alright, first things first, all the play now clips in this video are on Hall of Fame difficulty. We're going to start off with some dribbling in the Learn 2K core. I don't know what the difficulty was on in there because whites were going in, but the play now clips are all on Hall of Fame. Alright, let's start this off with dribbling. A lot of questions to be answered here, a lot of clips here for you to enjoy. Let's talk about it. First thing to remember, these are NBA players. They do not have optimized SIGs. You cannot change their SIGs. They have whatever they have. Durant has Durant SIGs. De'Aaron Fox has De'Aaron Fox SIGs, etc. But the gameplay you're going to see tomorrow, I can't really speak on it, but it's with the My players, and in the test builder, you could change your SIGs, and it is a night and day difference from how the NBA players move to how you can move when you're able to change your SIGs. But this will give you at least a general idea of how it looks and, you know, how people are bursting. And obviously I know a lot of people from my channel are going to be like, bro, like, are the big builds bursting again? And yes, you can speed boost on big builds. It's a night and day difference between 2K25 and 2K26. And people might say, oh, what about the small guards? And yes, the small guards can fly. They can really change stuff together. People are definitely going to find some glitchy stuff. You see, you could spam behind the backs. You can spam escapes. There's some really, really good launch on Hall of Fame. All right, let's start this off with dribbling. A lot of questions to be answered here, a lot of clips here for you to enjoy. Let's talk about it. First thing to remember, these are NBA players. They do not have optimized SIGs. You cannot change their SIGs. They have whatever they have. Durant has Durant SIGs. De'Aaron Fox has De'Aaron Fox SIGs, etc. But the gameplay you're going to see tomorrow, I can't really speak on it, but it's with the My players, and in the test builder, you could change your SIGs, and it is a night and day difference from how the NBA players move to how you can move when you're able to change your SIGs. But this will give you at least a general idea of how it looks and, you know, how people are bursting. And obviously I know a lot of people from my channel are going to be like, bro, like, are the big builds bursting again? And yes, you can speed boost on big builds. It's a night and day difference between 2K25 and 2K26. And people might say, oh, what about the small guards? And yes, the small guards can fly. They can really chain stuff together. People are definitely going to find some glitchy stuff. You see, you could spam behind the backs. You can spam escapes. There's some really, really good launching behind the back.
Golly. Let's take a break. Oh my God. How do I make a nigga a mod? But do you follow me out here? Yep, it say you follow me. Talking about ban, it's only negative. Only negative stuff. Talking about ban, timeout, delete message, my actions. Follow. Ooh, wow. Nothing positive on her, man. Talking about mature mode. Wow. I am baffled. One more time. Yeah. Sorry, man. It's like
backs now, and you can start to combo those with like explosive behind the backs and momentum behind the backs. And you see, I mean, that's 6'11" Kevin Durant changing directions on a dime. You guys are starting to see some of the momentum crossovers. Now, I do want to mention there's only so many hours in the day at Community Day that you can't really like fully focus on everything. And my boy Young Dirk was really focused on dribbling, so he sent me all these clips in the Learn 2K. So I'm gonna leave the link to his dribble tutorial down below if you want to see more about dribbling after you finish this
That's
video.
what I'm saying, grinding.
But shout out to Young Dirk for hooking me up with the clips. I did get some dribble clips, but like I wasn't gonna spend a few hours on it when I knew other people were doing it. I wanted to focus on other areas of the game so we could get as much information as possible. But what's really nice to see is all these different NBA players have different dribble styles. You know, like Curry has his, Fox has his, Kevin Durant has his, Jimmy Butler has his, etc. And they can all speed boost, and that's just a breath of fresh air, because I feel like in past 2Ks it was like only 1 or 2 dribble styles could really burst cleanly, so it was like you were forced to use them. Now there's probably going to end up being like a couple that are better than all the other ones, but y'all get what I'm saying. Like before, it was like no matter what, if you weren't using Darius Garland last year, you had a hitch run out or just you had a no burst run out of dribble moves. It looks like there's a multiple dribble styles now that can burst. And again, this isn't even with optimal SIGs to go with the dribble style. This is just what the NBA players have on. So just wait till tomorrow when y'all can see how the my players are moving. Now I'm definitely interested in your thoughts on the dribbling from what you've seen here. So get your comments in down below and let's start the discussion. That is the Scottie Pippen behind the back that Mike was talking about. You know, they added some more explosive kind of behind the back dribble moves into the game, and that Scottie definitely launches you forward. There was also, I think, the Kobe White one felt pretty good. I was experimenting with it. Now I know a lot of you guys probably want my opinion on dribbling, so here it is. I spent a fraction of the time dribbling as other creators like Dirk and Koza and other creators. They spent majority of the day dribbling. I spent probably 20-30 minutes, tried it out, and then went to go get other information. But here's what I felt. It felt much more explosive than last year. It felt much more dynamic, and like you had more burst, you had more pop with the ball in your hands. It felt like you could chain things together much more quickly.
How do you do this?
And most importantly for me personally, it just felt more fun. Now I understand the bar from 2K25 was set extremely low, so to say it was better or more fun than that is like, well, you know, you're not really saying much, which I get, but it's just how I felt. Like dribbling there, I was like, damn, like this feels a lot more enjoyable than what I was doing the last 12 months on 2K25. So we'll see how the game feels at the official launch date. Because remember last year, people at Community Day found certain ways to speed boost dribbling wise, and then it was removed by the time the actual game came out. So hopefully that's not the case this year. Hopefully all this stuff people are finding and ways to burst and be dynamic and be explosive off the dribble. Hopefully all that stuff is there at launch, and then we could really dive into it as a community and find some crazy stuff. But that's enough about dribbling. Let's move on to some other gameplay aspects. All right, let's talk about shooting and shot contests. Got a bunch of clips here. Some are going to be open, some contested, some green, some miss. Want y'all to just take a look at it, and I'm gonna just let it play, and you guys can kind of start to assess, you know, how the shooting looks, how the contest system looks, and get your thoughts down below in the comments. I will say a few things. I know people are gonna ask about RNG and the pure green window and how did it feel and blah blah blah. Obviously, it's just a few, you know, hours that I was playing the game, because I also had to get, you know, my builder stuff done and all that. But the green window definitely felt more precise. Like when you got it right, it was green, but when you got it wrong, it was earlier, it was late. Like you were like, it was.
Is it not J-Dub?
Like if you were slightly off, it was doinking. So when I talked to Mike in that interview I did with him, he explained it, if he could compare it to anything, was like a more skill-based 2K24 shooting system. And I could kind of see where he's coming from, just because of, you know, yes, you have the pure green window, but
I'm sorry. Yeah, go back. Golly. Say something though. I'm trying to see if they give you like a logo
as a community and find some crazy stuff. But that's enough about dribbling. Let's move on to some other gameplay aspects. All right, let's talk about shooting and shot contests. Got a bunch of clips here. Some are going to be open, some contested, some green, some missed. Want y'all to just take a look at it, and I'm gonna just let it play, and you guys can kind of start to assess, you know, how the shooting looks, how the contest system looks, and get your thoughts down below in the comments. I will say a few things. I know people are going to ask about RNG and the pure green window and how did it feel and blah blah blah. Obviously, it's just a few, you know, hours that I was playing the game, because I also had to get, you know, my builder stuff done and all that. But the green window definitely felt more precise. Like when you got it right, it was green, but when you got it wrong, it was earlier, it was late. Like you were like, it was like if you were slightly off, it was doinking. So when I talked to Mike in that interview I did with him, he explained it, if he could compare it to anything, was like a more skill-based 2K24 shooting system. And I could kind of see where he's
2K24.
coming from, just because of, you know, yes, you have the pure green window, but it is, you got to be more precise than you were on 24. And that I did feel that. Now, obviously, it's just a few hours. We'll see how it plays out when the game actually drops. But another thing that was noticeable was player height really matters still on the shooting. You know, taller builds definitely shoot over people and, you know, get contested less than the shorter builds. And Kevin Durant was an absolute god because of that. I mean, KD was insane on this. All right, we're going to switch gears over to mid-range a little bit here. And I'll be honest with you, the mid-range felt really, really good. Tested it with KD, Shea. I think there's maybe like a Curry clip, a Luka clip. Like definitely shot a few middies here and there, but I was definitely using it a lot with Kevin Durant, just trying to just see how the contest system was registering. I had somebody using Shea on the other team, and then I was using KD, and we basically tested mid-ranges for like good 10-15 minutes straight. They feel really, really good. I know they were good on 25. They feel really good on 26. And again, the height thing, I know I'm harping on it a lot, but like you start to see how people are, you know, you saw in the dribbling in the beginning of this video, right? Like people are able to move now on the bigger players, and that wasn't even my players. Like I said, that was NBA players, and you were still bursting and doing all that. Then you combine it with the fact that you're really like shooting over people in terms of that advantage. Like you might actually see a back and forth this year of small guards and big guards both being viable again. I think overall for the game, that would be beautiful. A little bit more build diversity, a little bit more play style diversity. And what I will say about shot contests is they definitely felt stronger than 2K25. 2K25 to me felt like you were kind of praying for a contest. Like 90% of stuff just registered open. It didn't feel like that on this game. It definitely felt stronger, but not stronger to the point where ghost contests were happening like in past 2Ks. If a dude had his hand down, especially against a guy like Durant who's so tall, but even other players that we tested like Shea and stuff, it would say open if their hand was down. So if they reached and you shot it, it said open. If they jump, but they were, you know, super late getting out to you, it would still say open. If you created enough space, like on that fade over Chet right there, it says open. But then if they, you know, if they're under you and they get a hand near your face or near where the ball was, or they jump in time to get there before you release the ball, they'd register some type of contest. Now let's talk about rhythm shooting. The new rhythm shooting system, right? Apparently you only have to green the tempo.
I almost want to slow this video down.
You're about to see a couple clips of it, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm gonna be honest. You know, apparently if you don't green the timing, it makes it harder to green the tempo, but as long as you just green the tempo, it still goes in. And I'll be honest, without the meter, it's kind of like, man, he's making whites is kind of what I feel like, you know, even though I understand the system is different, but when you turn the meter on and see it visually, I mean, I'll be honest. It hurts my soul. I'm like, bro, this dude is making a 3/4 bar shot, but I understand the logic is different now.
Let's run that whole sequence back. What did he say?
New rhythm shooting system, right? Apparently, you only have to green the tempo. And that is confirmed because you're about to see a couple clips of it. And I don't know how I feel about it. I'm going to be honest. You know, apparently, if you don't green the timing, it makes it harder to green the tempo. But as long as you just green the tempo, it still goes in. And I'll be honest.
What?
Without the meter, it's kind of like, man, he's making whites is kind of what I feel like, you know, even though I understand the system is different. But when you turn the meter on and see it visually, I mean, I'll be honest.
The tempo right.
It hurts my soul. I'm like, bro, this dude is making a 3/4 bar shot, but I understand the logic is different now. But I think we're all like ingrained in the 2K25 rhythm shooting system.
Right.
Let me know your comments down below. Let's talk quick about perimeter defense bumps. You see right here, Lou Dort cuts off Kevin Durant coming up the court, and they get a physical body up, cut off, like bump animation. If someone's moving, if a dribbler is moving, and you cut them off, you will get a bump, physical body up bump. But a big difference I noticed was on 2K25, if someone was standstill dribbling at the top of the key, you could just like press against them and interrupt that dribble sequence. Now, I'm not going to say it's impossible to interrupt someone's standstill dribble sequence, because obviously I just tested it in the limited amount of time that I had, but it definitely felt night and day difference to 25. 25 felt like if someone's dribbling, you know, on the perimeter, standstill, you could just basically run up to them, smash into them, and interrupt their whole dribble combo, and it would put their player in like a bump animation. Didn't feel like that on this game. until they started moving. Once they started to try to burst past you left or right, or try to
This
drive to the
game
basket or whatever,
already-
then if you
oh,
were
I'm
running
getting
with
mad.
them,
I'm
then
not
there would
even
be
going
some
to
type
play.
of body up collision. But we'll have to see, how that plays out throughout the year. But it definitely was a noticeable difference
Who
in
on
my
the
opinion.
sticks?
Last quick thing for perimeter
Who on the
defense
sticks?
bumps off the little push cross here into the defender's leg, lose the ball. I know a lot of people are like anti-push cross, anti-De'Aaron Fox crossover. Well, position yourself correctly, you could be knocking that ball free without even having to reach. All right, let's talk
that
about
was a bad
layups.
crossover.
We know
You
custom
really
layups
about it.
and slow-mo Euros and all this new layup stuff they're adding. So let's talk about it. Layups definitely felt much improved from 2K25, but that's not saying much. Layups were pretty awful in 2K25. Size matters. You saw that one right there with Giannis. You're going to see some with Trey, Luka. Size matters in terms of getting contested. It felt like the bigger players definitely could go up with more 50-50 takes, and the green window would stay a bit bigger than the smaller players. But overall, whether it was Trey, Luka, De'Aaron Fox, Giannis, whoever it was, being able to see the green window, I know it was an old feature. Like we had it in 2K24, then they got rid of it. They brought it back. I'm not hyping it up like, whoa, like this is, but it's just nice to be able to see it, not only to help you know when to release the timing of the layup, but also so you know what's a good take and a bad take and help you understand what you can and can't go up with. Now let's talk about driving dunks.
Nah, I
Dunk
ain't saying
meter.
De'Aaron Fox cross.
I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about this, so let's talk about it. First thing I'll say, size
you
matters again.
introduced me
It
into
felt like
that
the bigger
realm
players got
of the
more
world.
consistent
I
green
never
windows.
even knew that was a thing.
Some concerning
Until we
things
played
was I
1v1
still feel
one
like there's
day.
some kinks that need to be worked out in terms of the dunk.
Nigga
meter.
put the ball on
I have
the
a
floor.
couple of specific clips coming up here
I'm
in just a
talking about
second.
gone on me. I said,
And I did bring it to their attention, and I'm sure other people did as well at Community
Nigga,
Day. And as we know,
spin.
we saw last year, they definitely make changes
Gone.
after Community Day.
I'm reaching my
Last
players.
year they
Nowhere to be
nerfed
found.
builds and took out certain dribble speed boost animations and stuff. But check out a couple of these animations. You're gonna see me beat the defender.
It still look good in the game,
or whoever I'm
Well,
playing against
that wasn't
gets
De'Aaron
past
Fox.
me, and we're just driving to the
Why
basket
did he
like
go
right
with
here.
De'Aaron Fox?
Ant Edwards slides through, has a clear path to the hoop. By the time he goes up with the dunk, and the dunk window stays small. So that's a little alarming to me. I feel like there's, like I said, there's still some kinks to definitely work out. Like this one right here, it's a clean drive.
It is, man.
Blew by the defender, clean line at the hoop, but because like when I started the dunk, maybe the defender was still like pushed against me. I'm not really sure. Like I said, there's definitely some stuff to still fix. But even with that being said, we were still getting some nice contact dunks at times. Sometimes the green windows were big, sometimes they were small, so definitely figuring out exactly how the logic works. But something I definitely like is when they take you out of the dunk meter, you turn it into a layup, and it's usually a pretty greenable layup. So I feel like that is a nice change instead of it just being like, I went up for a dunk meter, they took me out of the dunk meter, and now the play is cooked. It's like, nah, in real life, it's like, oh, I wanted to dunk it, but now I got hit, so I'm gonna, adjust my body and be able to turn it into a layup type of thing. So we'll have to see how the dunk meter plays out. I'm not really sure if it's good or bad yet. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure. I need to see more, and I need to see what kind of changes are tweaked by the time the game launches. Let's move on to interior defense and standing dunks. There's definitely some crazy interior defense animations. Like, look at this one by Rudy. My God. I mean, to be fair, it's Rudy and Wemby. They have great interior defense stats, but you could definitely get some crazy stops. Now, wide open standing meter dunks, you see how big the green window is. And then even like standing meter dunks against smaller defenders, like Wemby just, going up over smaller defenders. See the size of the green window. It kind of feels like it's like you could get crazy stops, but you could also get crazy dunks. It's kind of, I'm not really sure. Like, we'll have to see how it plays out, but they both definitely felt viable. Like, if you timed when you were going to jump to get the stop, it's like you'd get a crazy ante. But you could also, if you went up with the standing dunk and they weren't entirely properly positioned, you would just boom it on them. Also, a little detail I noticed right here was as Joel was backing down Wemby, look at when Wemby jumped, his hand was behind, like Joel pinned him so deep in the dead zone that when he jumped, his hand hit the back of the backboard and it registered open. I feel like in past games, sometimes if you did that, it would still register a contest just because it was like, it thought you were supposed to be there, but you weren't actually there because you got stuck on the hoop. I don't know, just something like a small little detail I noticed. But you see the size of these standing dunk meters, you could definitely go crazy with the standing dunks, but then you also saw some of the paint stop animations I was getting. Is like you could definitely go crazy with the interior stops as well. Like here's one from Wemby. I mean, I'm not really sure which one's going to be better, but they both definitely felt viable, at least for the little bit that I tested them. Last thing, rebounding. You can turn off the green feedback in the player HUD. I did notice that. I know some people have been asking that, but as you can see here, you don't have to green the rebound to get it. You know, Mike has already talked about that, but just so people can be clear about that. And then even here, I'm on Jokic. I green the rebound and my teammate grabs it instead of me. So just because you green it doesn't mean you're automatically going to get it. But this is what the green feedback looks like. Figure we'll just touch on that real quick. But if you guys want to see raw, unedited footage of the first part game in NBA 2K26, click that video on the screen right there. You will get to see full gameplay with...
Why? Okay.
We're not going to waste any time. We're jumping straight into it. Y'all asked for raw.
That nigga say we ain't wasting no time. We jumping straight into it. See, that's what I'm saying, bro. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, J-Dub, for the suggestion, man. This nigga grinding.
Edited NBA 2K26 gameplay, and I got exactly that here for y'all. I'm actually still in the hotel room. I was just at community day for 12 hours in the builder and getting some gameplay for y'all. And as soon as I got back to the hotel room, we're already editing and, you know, getting on the mic to talk to y'all about it. So drop a like on the video for me. I really appreciate it. Let's try to get this video to 10,000 likes, and let's talk about it. All right. I'm in the white. I'm in the white jerseys. My team's white.
Let's get right into
the black jersey. Swag is my pro-am team, and I play park with him for the last, I don't even know, 5-6 years. You know, me and Swag go way back. So we decided to match up in the my team triple threat. So it's 3-on-3. We pulled up some my team cards. Luckily, I was able to. I was lucky enough to pull LeBron James. So we got some LBJ gameplay here for you for my first time on 2K26. And listen, a few things to notice about this game. We were not able to customize our HUD. So we weren't able to turn off our shot meters. We were not able to change our shot feedback. We were not able to customize any of that stuff. Okay, so that's gonna kind of hinder the gameplay a little bit. And also, it's literally our first couple minutes playing NBA 2K26, so there's gonna be some rough moments, but y'all wanted it unedited, and I understand why, because y'all want to see the game speed, y'all want to see how it flows, y'all want to see this, that, and the third, so completely understand. All right, now I also want to mention these are, you know, the my team cards for these NBA and WNBA players, so they have their own animations, and as y'all know, they're not optimized animations. Like when we make our my players, we find, you know, the best escape to go with the best crossover, to go with the best behind the back, with the best hezzy, and it all comes together, and it's able to move a lot more efficiently and quicker and just better than the NBA and WNBA players because you got optimized SIGs. So my point is, some of the bursts that you're going to see in these gameplays, it might look clunky sometimes, but you have to realize a lot of these players don't have great SIGs attached to their my team cards and whatnot. Like when you'll see the gameplay tomorrow, and, you know, you see the builder and people, you know, being able to test their builds. And when we tested the builds, we could customize the SIGs. You're going to see just it's a night and day difference in terms of how people can kind of burst and speed boost and change directions and start to chain glitchy stuff together. And then of course when the full game drops and the whole community's out there labbing, it really looks like we're gonna find some glitchy stuff because the bigger players, like obviously last year the small players could burst, the big players on this game can definitely move. You move a lot better than 2K25, that's for damn sure. Step back with Bron pulling up. Y'all already know. Y'all already know how we're coming with Bron on 2K26. All right, so make sure y'all tuned in tomorrow. My Bron build is dropping, and I'm excited for that one. But we're hot. We're up 11-2. Swag, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm trying to blitz the ball hand because I know Mike was talking about, you know, how they nerfed the plucks and blitz steals will be rewarded. So I'm really trying to blitz the ball hand and go for him. But I'm getting called for a foul here and there. You do see, though, I don't know if you can tell in this, in my gameplay breakdown video that I posted earlier, I kind of talked about this. When someone stands still dribbling, you can't just like push up against them and just knock. Swag's giving me too much space. Bron's knocking it down yet again. 14-2. It's an absolute flood. But what I was talking about was when someone stands still dribbling, you can't just bump them out of like their combo. But as soon as they start moving and like trying to drive or trying to run to the side, then all of a sudden the body up like perimeter defense, you see like right there, that's Caitlin Clark like pretty much stonewalling LeBron James, which I know sounds crazy, but let's let's ignore the physics behind it in terms of the WNBA versus NBA players. I know people are probably going to freak out about that, but they already talked about how it's literally just, when it comes to my team, it's just attributes and badges and whatnot. But that's not the point of what I'm saying. The point of what I'm saying is when you're on the move, the defender gets much better bumps. When you're standing and you're trying to go, tween cross, you're doing like a size up or something. On 25, you could like run up to the guy and just bump him out of that dribble combo. It didn't seem to be the case on 26.
You gotta find a new
when they're on the move and you cut them off, you do get a body up. But when they're standstill dribbling, which I guess is like real life, if someone's dribbling at the top of the key and you're a defender, you can't just run into them and just knock them backwards and knock them out of their dribble sequence, right? That would be called a foul. So I guess in that sense it makes sense. But I'm just reporting what I felt playing the game. You know what I mean? I felt like when I was standstill dribbling, I could combo all I wanted, and then as soon as I got on the move, if they got on my hip or they cut me off to the basket, there would be some type of physical collision animation, and that was something that I noticed that was different in terms of the body ups and the dribbling. But first game on 2K26, 21-7. Bron went crazy, 8 for 8, 2 for 2 from 3, so definitely happy about that. But now we're going to head over to the 2v2 courts. Me and Swag are going to team up. So let's get into the 2v2 gameplay. And this is all users. This is me and Swag versus 2 users. I'm not really sure who it is. It's just, letters and numbers as gamer tags. So I'm not really sure. But all 4 people on the court being controlled by users. So as you can expect, we've been playing the game for 20 minutes at this point. It is going to be a sloppy gameplay. But at least y'all will get to see some raw, unedited gameplay. And like I said, we couldn't customize our player HUD, couldn't turn off the shot meters. There's a lot of stuff that kind of made it even more challenging. But you get to see kind of a little bit more user on user action, because although last game it was me and Swag playing, there was still 4 AIs on the court. It was more team control mode as opposed to single, everyone controlling an individual single player on the court. So this is a nice little change of pace. Now I am curious, what are your thoughts already after watching me and Swag play that 3v3 there? Is there anything you saw that you liked, that you didn't like, that concerns you? Just what are your thoughts? Comment it down below. I will be reading the comments to kind of see where your guys' head is at, and then maybe even answer some of your guys' questions down there if I have time in between editing all these videos that I'm trying to get out for you guys in a timely fashion. As I said, I'm still, like I said, I'm in the hotel room. We're on the grind. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all know how I get this time of year. I do everything I can for y'all boys, and y'all always, y'all always show love back. So, the feeling is mutual. I appreciate y'all, and clearly, the way you guys support the videos, you guys appreciate it as well. So I love that. But let's keep it going. Wemby with the block. Now, we've already seen Wemby has the 99 block, so you would hope, right? You would hope he'd be able to get his hand on the ball here or there, and that was a nice inside block. Now, we're going to a little pick and roll here. I go up. You see, I try to go up for the dunk meter. He takes me out of the dunk meter, but it still converts to a layup, and usually it is a makeable layup. It's not like a sliver of a green window. Like, that was a pretty decent size green window on the layup. And of course, you can see the green window. We already knew this, but you can see the green window again on the dunks and the layups. So that is a beautiful thing. And thank goodness for that, revision, going back to the way it used to be. But check this out again. The shot meter just messes with me, bro. I try to pull up. I'm shooting a bounce back half bar. Iverson is pulling up in the corner. He's knocking it down. Me and Swag are down 7-4. It ain't looking too good. But I'm about to turn up and take this thing over with LeBron. Now, you're about to see here in just a second. AI pulls up and he misses, and then Swag's going to hit me on the kick out. I'm going to drive in and go in for a meter dunk here, and it's a good size green window. And Jokic is in the paint, but it's not like a... it's not like he's really like putting me into contact dunk animation or anything like that, but it just feels like a good time to kind of talk about my thoughts on the driving dunks and finishing in general from what I saw. I did talk about it in my gameplay breakdown. If y'all didn't watch that earlier, I definitely recommend y'all check that out. But finishing on this game, one thing I noticed is size really matters. And I think this was true in 2K25 as well, but you couldn't really, you didn't have the visible green window to back it up. But we know on the perimeter, right? If you're a tall player, it's a lot harder for them to contest you. You're shooting over those and blah, blah, blah. Y'all get what I'm saying in terms of the perimeter. But in the paint, I feel like the same thing is true. In the gameplay breakdown I did a lot of testing with like Ja and Ant, smaller dunkers. And then I also had Giannis, who's, 6'11", a much bigger player. And it just felt like Giannis was getting more consistent good sized green windows. Now there was times where his, shrunk and whatnot, but it really felt like finishing also not just depended on your attributes and badges, but the size of your player. And I feel like to an extent it makes sense, right? Like John Morant coming full head of steam, it's scary, but Giannis coming full head of steam is frightening. Like that's a really difficult thing to stop. And although they're both great dunkers, great finishers, the size does matter. So I think it's not a crazy concept to have in the game, but it was definitely, in terms of what I tested in the few hours I got to play, it definitely felt noticeable that the bigger players could, just kind of get a little more leeway in what they could and couldn't go up with in terms of not just the dunks, but the layups as well. The layups got contested a lot less on the taller players. Like I remember I was testing with like Trae Young and Luka, and stuff I went up with Trae that got contested. I feel like I went up with similar stuff with Luka, but because he's 6'7", 6'8", whatever he is, it was registering open. So I feel like not just in terms of jump shooting, but also in the finishing department, the size and the height on this team definitely plays a factor. Like I said, I feel like that's how it was last year, but just couldn't really back it up with any visual proof because we didn't have the visible green windows. But check this out. We've seen a couple lobs now, and as y'all can see, not only you got to time them, but you got to select one of the 4 face buttons on the controller. And I ain't gonna lie, especially early on, it's gonna be an adjustment. Like I missed my first one, and I'm somebody that probably catches more lobs than the usual 2K player, just because I'm always, I prefer to play on those dunking type of builds, and I have fun with the lobs and the contact dunks and stuff like that. But it's definitely gonna be a little adjusting to having to click different buttons. I feel like just you have like a habit, like, built into your psyche that you're just gonna automatically press the shoot button, and it ain't like that. You gotta lock in and actually click the right button. So that's gonna be a little adjustment. I think people will get used to it, but it also, I feel like, could deter people from throwing lobs in general, just because now it's like, man, there's even more chance your teammate messes it up, especially like in the random wreck or something like that. Like we're gonna see a lot of funny moments with those alley-oops in a random wreck. I already see it, but check it out. Even though LeBron is big and he's got decent finishing ratings and badges and all that, still get a basically no chance of greening that meter dunk right there. So it certainly isn't anything OP. And if you watched the gameplay breakdown, there's actually some stuff I'm pretty concerned about that I addressed in there. And I did bring it to their attention. I think other people did as well. So hopefully they're able to sort it out by launch. But there was some stuff with the dunking that logically really didn't make sense. But again, it is the community day version of the game. It's not the final product that we're going to play at launch, so hopefully they're able to fix those small things that we noticed in terms of the dunk meter being like just randomly inconsistent for no reason. If you want to actually see that, like I said, the gameplay breakdown is the place to go check it out, and that video is going to pop up on the screen here in just a second after we finish this thing off. Wemby's ripping down the rebound. He's going to hit me, and if you wanted to see a two-hand tomahawk contact dunk to finish it off, there you go, man. Click that video on the screen right there. Like I said, that is
we're gonna swag right
here. What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy Swag, back at it again with another bang. And today I have gameplay of the first ever park game in NBA 2K26, man. We got some 2v2 games, teaming up with Joe Knows, as well as some 3v3 games, teaming up with Bauer. Joe was on LeBron, and I was on Wemby on the team.
All right. Wow. Well, it's about, I guess that's it. Wow.
What's up? Listen, I am going on tour.
What time? How is it? 12:20.
What's up? Listen, I am going on tour and I'm bringing some of the biggest comedy.
Damn. I think I'm about to call it. This is it. No, what are you doing? Tomorrow morning. Hit it twice, but what I was gonna say, yeah, man. I guess They buns. Talking about swag. Swag is buns. I don't know. I wouldn't have threw that nigga the ball neither. He was not throwing the ball. But what the matter is, man? What am I supposed to do for 7 days?